Hello, this is Quentin Shank from Economics 1500. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about price ceilings and floors, as well as supply and demand, and how these things can affect our economy. So first of all, we have a price ceiling, which is a maximum price that a good or service can be sold for according to law. So for example, we have Rupert here. Now Rupert is looking to buy an apartment in the state of New York. The problem with this is that the New York State Legislature has recently passed a law saying that landlords cannot charge their tenants more than $400 a month for rent. This might sound good to some people, but it really means that there's going to be no apartments available to rent for Rupert. This makes him extremely upset, and he goes to Texas instead to start a Longhorn company. This might sound good, but he loses most of his money in the process as his farm goes under. No one wants to be Rupert. Price controls are not always good. So the next thing I want to talk about are price floors, which are a minimum price set by government law. The most common example of this is the minimum wage. For example of this, we have Montserrat here. She is looking to get hired at a burger joint in California. But the problem about this is that California has recently raised their minimum wage to $18 an hour, meaning that this job is extremely difficult for her to get because of the increased competitiveness of getting this job. So this leaves Montserrat very frustrated, and she feels like she has no other option and nowhere to go. So price floors also are not always good in certain circumstances. This leads me to my next point, which is going to be supply and demand. Supply is how many goods and services are supplied by producers, while demand is how many goods and services are wanted by consumers. So a market flourishes when supply and demand are at equilibrium, meaning that they equal each other. This isn't always the case, however, though, because sometimes demand is greater than supply, which creates a shortage, and sometimes demand is less than supply, which creates a surplus. So for example of this, we have a guy by the name of Amar Heat. He goes to the store one day to buy apples for an apple pie. The problem with this is that there is an increased demand in apples at the store, meaning that Amar Heat cannot buy his apples because there is none left to buy because they were undersupplied. So it is very beneficial when supply equals demand. Now let's have an example of a surplus. Here we have Genzibi. She works at a store that has oversupplied bananas. It has overestimated its banana demand. And that means that they had to drive the price of bananas way down throughout a sale. And that is not good for the store. Supply needs to be equal to demand. Equilibrium is key. Thank you very much.